So I bought a 2021 Fish Pro from the dealer, and it came stock with two items: this speaker system and that there fish finder. So I've done some modifications. I've added a second battery back here. I added a battery tender system so that I can just plug it in fairly easily from the outside. I've added the bilge pump. I modified the BRP bilge pump to add a float switch because the unmodified version just runs constantly when the key is on. That is not like that at all. And then I added these heated grips. Now I want to add a USB. And this is their USB port. This basically just run it through. Why it's not stock, I do not know. But run this through here, and then we'll hook it up underneath the bonnet there. Well, this is the dongulator that you hook everything up underneath the bonnet. Well, BRP tells you that you have to remove this panel and remove the speakers. Do not do that. You do not need to do that. We will simply open up the front, run a piece of fish tape through, pull our wire, and you're pretty much installed at that point. Then it's just hooking everything up. There's a little trick I discovered, and it basically comes to using a little bit of lubrication on this little assembly here, because it sticks, it's hard, and once you start pushing it, once it stops, you're in trouble. So a little bit of lube on this, and that will make your life a little easier. So let's get to it. I'll show you step by step. You want to start by removing the seats. Next, we want to remove the rear deck by removing the screws that go around the perimeter of the deck. There are several screws also underneath the pylon cover that screws out in the center. Open the hatch and remove the two screws forward that hold that cover in place. Remove the forward cover by giving it a sharp snap forward. Remove the trim forward of the instrument cluster by removing the two torque screws. Remove the USB cover. Remove the phone cover lid. If you look at the hinges, you can see that the lid can slide to the right, and with a quick little pop, the whole lid will slide to the right and lift free. Comes right off. Run your fish tape through the USB port forward. Pay particular attention to where the fish tape comes out on the forward end of the hatch. You can see the fish tape I had handy in my shop was a piece of tubing and a piece of wire. Notice I slipped the wire through the tubing and then pulled the tubing off and left the wire. Fish the USB plug and cable by taping it lightly to your fish tape and just pull it through. What you don't want to do is give it too much tape or tape it too tightly and make it difficult for you to get it free once it's on the other side. Go ahead and remove that tape from your fish tape and get that out of your way. If you look down inside of the cover, you can see exactly where the surge protector bolts down. You want that port facing forward. Here you can see I've color coded what wires are what. The left speaker I've done in red. You can see that goes across this loom here. Here's the plug for that. I've done green for this other one. I don't know if you can actually see that. The right speaker, and it only has one plug. It just runs down, so it's a passive unit. The actual the left side is the powered side of the unit. The yellow here, this is the fish finder itself, and then the blue over here is the harness and the main hookups for the heated grips. So where we're going to actually install this is right in between these two here. That's really where everything takes place, right in between this connection and this connection. There's really only one way to hook this up. Disconnect that left side speaker from the heated grips and connect the wire loom that comes with the USB in between them. The female leads fit on studs underneath that hood. The wire loom clips to them. Remove the wire loom keeper. It's a little plastic plug. And route your wire through the channel provided. And put that plug back in once you get it exactly where you want it so you don't lose it. Lock the USB port connection by pushing the red tab forward. As with the other side, you can't hook this up backwards. One plug fits on one plug and the other plug fits on the other plug. You want to push these things in until they click. You want to make sure that those rubber gaskets do not get damaged when you're inserting these plugs. Don't force anything. Thread the wiring from the USB port around the posts and studs next to the steering column. You'll find that the wire is too thick to fit into the grooves. You'll want to bend it around those posts in an S-shaped pattern, and that will hold it secure. Secure the cable in place using the zip ties that are provided. Use a pair of side cutters and cut that zip tie flush. Don't leave any sharp edges for the next guy. Once you have everything hooked up, you want to test everything. Test your heated grips, test your chart plotter and fish finder, test your audio, and test your new USB port. I'm charging. Install the hatch trim the same way it came off. Install the forward cover the same way it came off. You'll need to give it a sharp little push forward once you have everything aligned. Replace the two screws that hold the lid on. Reinstall the rear deck. If you have the second battery kit, you might want to use a wooden stick to prop it up while you hook all your wires up. You will notice that I modified my second battery kit and put battery terminal quick disconnects and my battery maintainer also hooks up at the same time. When installing the bolts that hold the deck on, very gingerly drop them into place and lightly thread them into those retainer clips. I have found that if you push too hard, you can dislodge those retainer clips and lose the nut down into the bilge. And if you have a bunch of screws already in place, it's kind of a pain to remove them. Working side to side, forward to aft, take up all the slack in those nuts. You don't want to over tighten. All you need to do is snug it down to press that gasket into the hull. Once you've done that, go back and do it again. Make sure that all the nuts are torqued equally. So you've now pretty much completed the entire project. You have the pylon cover to put back on and the seat covers to put back on, but you're pretty much ready to roll at this point. As you can see, you did not need to remove the side covers and you did not need to remove the audio from the boat. I hope you found this helpful. I'll see you guys out on the water.